Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. This is episode 335. Holy crap, 35 episodes already since 300. Can you believe it? And it's the 5th week of the month, so that means it is the lightest, and it's a relief because now we can just relax until next week's books come. The books we are talking about today were released on
March 30th, 2016, the last week of March.
And there really weren't that many books. However, because there weren't that many books, there was very little, at least in my case, no disappointments.
All right. So
I know you won't agree, so Mike's behind the camera because we're doing Digities first.
Yes, so the first digital
book.
Back to the Future, issue number 6.
All right, I gotta admit this. I'm glad that we kind of got away from all those mini stories now. The book actually has one story going on, and it actually felt like I was reading something that wasn't just short stories, like 2 or 3 short stories. This takes place after Back to the Future 3, and Marty's having a hard time readjusting to life, and he just had this humongous, amazing, crazy adventure, and now the Doc's gone in the past, and he's having a hard time readjusting. Nothing's exciting him anymore. Even there's problems between him and Jennifer a bit. And then he gets a letter from the past from Clara. And it turns out Doc went missing. So now Marty has to try to find a way to find Doc in time, which I found very interesting. And he grabs Jennifer, and they obviously, where he built a DeLorean wasn't the lab that Marty had gone to, so there had to be a secret lab, and we find out later on that there actually was a secret lab, and then we also find Doc. However, Doc doesn't know who Marty is. I feel like the artwork's better. The story definitely now is a story, one story, and it's not side stories, it's not past, remembering stories. It's a legitimate, this is a story, and it looks really good.
Godzilla Oblivion, issue number 1.
So the people from our world have opened up a gateway to the kaiju world. And they go into the kaiju world, and they're in the ruins of the world because I guess that world's screwed. So we see a lot of the kaijus. We get a very, very brief glimpse of Godzilla. Very brief. And in the end, this is one of those books, again, where the people are the focal point, not Godzilla, or at least not yet. And that's what has me worried for this series already, because I love Godzilla in Hell. It focused on Godzilla. There was nothing else involved. I understand people have to be involved now with the book a bit, because it is with people in it, but I wanted more a focal point on Godzilla. But this is a first issue, so I, give credit, give it where it's due. I mean, the first issue really sets up the series, and they end up running back through the portal, except one of the kaijus follows behind, and I believe the story's set up where one kaiju has broken into the other world, and now they've got to find Godzilla to save them from that kaiju. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing Godzilla next issue. I love the artwork in the book. It felt really cool. I like the Godzilla cameo, and excited to see where the rest of Oblivion's going.
Satan's Hollow, issue number 1, which we both read.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. It follows Sally and her Sandy.
Sandy, yeah.
Why did I say Sally? Sandy and her I guess they're newly married.
Yeah, they were like newly married couple.
Or they were married, but anyway, her aunt and uncle passed away, and she got the house, and it turns out that she used to live there, and something traumatic happened when she was 3 years old, and it happened near Satan's Hollow, and apparently she blocked it out of her mind, and now that she's back there, she's starting to feel things that she hadn't felt in a long time. We find out that there is actually a demon in Satan's Hollow, and
because
these
there were two boys that went in there.
In the beginning of the issue, these 2 boys go looking around, like they're doing like ghost hunting or whatever, and one boy goes missing. So there's like a search party that happens, and Sandy and her husband are a part of it. They don't find the boy. Sandy did find the tunnels though, and she went in there, and she actually found the camera that Kenny dropped, which is the boy that went missing, and she left. They showed it in her pocket, but they didn't acknowledge it for the rest of the issue. They ended up going home, and long story short, the one part I didn't understand, and you think it's the same person. It could very well be. Those last 2 pages show the husband leaving the house and somebody entering Satan's tunnel, and this person summons, spoiler here, the Shadow Man, and he wants to serve Satan, and his rewards will be gold and women and everything he wants. And my one question is if that's the husband or if that's somebody else, and they just conveniently put those panels side by side, and they didn't distinguish well enough. But I think it is the husband. I'm almost 100% sure that it was the husband.
That's what
but
it looks like.
It was too... I don't know. I guess we'll definitely find out in the next issue.
And we will. Alright, now it's my book, starting with Ghostbusters International, issue number 3. The Ghostbusters are in Poveglia, Italy, and they're going into the island of Poveglia.
You remember Poveglia, Ghost Adventures?
Yeah. And they were going there to see about the ghost activities, and they do find something of a... like this huge demonic entity that it looks like a big like bird or something with the like I couldn't remember.
I think
what
those are like doctors, yeah.
Yeah, like doctors. And,
the masks they used to wear to keep themselves from catching the plague that was plaguing Italy.
And they were trying to catch, and of course.
See, we learn things when we watch Ghost Adventures and ghost hunting shows.
And of course, it's never easy for the Ghostbusters to try to capture him, so. They're trying to find different ways of how they can capture it. And while that's happening, Janine is finding a new Ghostbuster people to work in the Ghostbusters firehouse, and she didn't really find any, except this one person that could type words and stuff like that. So that's a little stressful for that. But long story short, they capture this demonic entity. But what came with it was this napkin, and it needs to be translated. So Egon, back at headquarters, the way he's translating it, there's like a lot more that's gonna entail of what they captured and why it won't go into the what's that thing called? That compactor thing, the one that captures ghosts.
Oh, the traps.
Yeah, the trap. So for some reason it's not going in there. So we'll find out next issue more information. Good God, thank you, Lord, this ended. King Conan, issue number 4. Thank you, it is just ended. Because this story, the whole thing of this, from issues 1 through 4, was just about the crown. Or the ring thing that looked like a crown.
So it's over, be happy.
Yeah, I am happy. And then the whole thing about, that Conan was trying to get it because... he wanted it, but then he gave it to this boy who deserved it most. So he gave it to him. And that's what really the whole book was. It was just a whole big dialogue of other stuff that was like, okay, how are we going to get it? So it was really just that strategy for that. So if you want to pick it up to you guys. Conan the Avenger, issue number 24. Dear God, like, what did I read in this book?
Man, you really flip-flopped with Conan.
No, because... there is so much dialogue, not much of Conan at all. It is just about these other people. Like, there's a war that's going on between, I don't even know how you say that name. And they're fighting with each other, and Conan is on one of the sides that is fighting, because, Conan, you're dealing with someone who's a barbarian. And we only see him for, like, that one page. And if I remember correctly, that's what happened in the last issue that we saw on one page. But it was such long dialogue. I could not stand that book. So I don't know. The last page got me intrigued of seeing, because one of the girls was asking Zan, or whoever it was, the messenger of the crystal ball, to go record about this war. So he says, and then something happened. So I want to know what happens in a way, but if the next issue doesn't hold me, I might as well just let it go, because I don't know what happened to that story. However, going to something good. Faith issue number 3. Now, Summer is in a predicament where there are these robbers who are at her job, and they're about to like fire and everything else. So three people found out that Summer is Faith, that know her secret identity. This one person's like being a jerk, like saying, "Oh, we gotta do this for the press and everything," and then one's like saying, "Oh, you can't do that. That's like a super villain move to do such a thing," and it is to do that stuff. But then we find out more information, about her character, and we see more about the inside perspective about how her hero is, always tired and stuff like that, and then how they're supposed to deal with adventures. And there's also some other things that are leading into the next issue. I think the next issue is the final one.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because it's that final something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a
short,
it's a mini-series.
Yeah. But a really great book and interesting. Grimm Tales of Terror, issue number 6. Now, we all know that black cats are bad luck, right? Well, this black cat that you see on the cover transforms into a human. A woman, actually. And the thing is that there's this man who, a woman that lives next door to this house that was abandoned for so many years, or like a couple of years. And there was this woman who always goes to see this man, and he didn't know that this woman could turn into a black cat. So, like, it was just like a whole setup where she was trying to get with him, but then in a way the wife sort of catches them, but not in a thingamajig, because he was like tied up in the chair. So it was really just a trap, and it was her getting possessed by her to kill her husband. And she doesn't remember this, because when the cops find her, she was arrested for the murder that happened, and she doesn't remember that happened. So the whole DNA stuff, there was this woman, I can't remember what her name was, but black cats mean business, so bad luck. Red Agent, issue number 3 of 5. Now, this one is finding out about who was controlling the mind of this person. And it's, what was her name? Red Riding Hood, along with, from the, oh god, why can't I remember the book now? The one that Xenoscope came up with, it started with the letter C. Oh god, why can't I remember the title?
Anyway.
Oh, the colon or something like that. But anyway, Coven, thank you. Coven. Coven. And they're just teaming up to try to find out, who is behind this whole mind thing. And we find out more as we get into the book. It was an okay issue. Like, I mean, there's only 2 more issues left. I mean, I'm definitely going to pick up, see what happens next. But, really adventurous, and you get to find out more about the guy and his boss that also got killed in the process of all this happening. And and also when he wakes up, he doesn't really remember much of what happened because of the mind control, because he's a robot. So that's for that. And now big 2, Batman&Robin Eternal, issue number 26.
The grand finale is here, and man, did it deliver. It delivered in many, many ways. As I figured, Harper doesn't kill Cassandra. We all knew that wasn't going to happen. She turned on Mother. It was her versus Mother, Dick versus Mother. Azrael helped Dick in being able to stop Mother, so Mother's plan failed, and now she's going to escape. She's melting the ice castle that they're in. And Cassandra gets free, and just when you think that Cassandra's going to kill Mother, she doesn't. She chooses to bring her in. But then Orphan shows up, her father, and ends Mother and takes her down basically with him, because Orphan's already dying. So, and he actually apologizes for Cassandra and says she deserved everything that he didn't give her. And they all go home, happy. And then a month later, Batman's back. He's back. It's after issue 50 of Batman and after Robin Wars. So apparently Robin Wars happened after Batman and Robin Eternal How that happened, I have no clue. But
That
anyway,
doesn't even make any sense.
anyway, and Batman goes to everyone. First, he goes to Harper, and she decides for the time being, the superhero life isn't for her. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't. Um, she was angry that Batman didn't tell her, but her life is her own now, and she's gonna figure it out on her own where she's going from there. Cassandra, however, picks the opposite. She chooses to fight alongside Batman, and he actually says we have work to do then. So they go off, and then later we get to see him talking with Dick, and telling Dick, apologizing, saying, I never trust, I have this thing, I don't trust anyone, but I'm glad you held your own, you made me proud. And that's when all the other Robins show up, and a bank robbery is going on, and it was the best ending ever. Batman's like, this looks like a job for Batman and Robin, and Dick's like, which one? And Batman's like, all of them. And that's how it ends. This book ended on a perfect note. I loved it.
Captain America.
I would recommend the entire series. Honestly, it was a very good series. If it comes out as an omnibus, you're damn right I'll be getting the physical copies through the omnibus. But in total, this was an amazing 26 issue or 26 week run. This is going to be an honorable mention.
And again, Captain America, issue number 7.
I don't want to make a big deal. I don't normally read Captain America 7. It was brought to my attention that something big happened in this issue, and I just wanted to take note of the event because for the 50th time, Steve Rogers is now back to his youthful super soldier serum self. He is back. And that is the major thing that happens in this book that needs to be addressed that I wanted to say. So I'm really happy we got Cap back. And obviously we knew this was coming because he has his own book coming out soon, which I'm looking forward to reading. Hopefully it won't be anything like the previous volume. We knew it was coming. I'm glad that he's been restored. Of course, it was through magical means. We didn't see that coming. But nevertheless, in a year, we won't even be remembering how he got his powers back. It'll just be back to the regular normal business. And apparently there'll be 2 Captain Americas anyway. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. That's just really the honorable mention I wanted to mention here. I'm still not reading Standoff and won't be. So
All New X-Men issue number 7.
Toad has young Scott Summers, and he believes if he kills young Scott Summers, it will erase what happened in the past. And Scott fakes being asleep, and he gets the snot beaten out of him by Toad because Toad is pissed drunk, and he beats the crap out of him with a bottle. And he tries to explain to Toad it doesn't work that way, which is true. It doesn't. Everything that's happened. It's just if young Cyclops dies, old Cyclops will disappear in the moment. And what happens is Cyclops ends up escaping, but he's too beaten up to get out of the catacombs, and the other X-Men are trying to find him. And it gets to the point where it looks like young Cyclops is dead, but I'm almost 100% sure he's not. But he's definitely buried under a lot of rubble. I'm eager to see what happens in the next issue to see if they address this or if they're just going to move on from there, which is messed up because we all know as readers that Cyclops can't be dead. But Toad, realizing he screwed up, ends up running away into the shadows, which this was a crazy issue. It was very crazy.
X-Men 92 issue number 1.
More of a guilty pleasure than anything else. This doesn't take place in the Marvel U. This is its own book. I guess, it was one of the most popular ones out of Secret Wars. I guess it deserved to get its own series. I loved it. Omega Red ends up joining the Russian protectors. And I forgot who the person was that ended up crashing into the Xavier School for Higher Learning. But Omega Red comes with them, and they want him because he's a fugitive. The X-Men won't give him to them. They end up getting into a little fight. The guy comes out and says, "It's not me you need to worry about. I just need 24 hours. Something even worse is coming." And he kind of teams up with he doesn't team up with them because he ends up leaving, but he warns the X-Men that something's coming, and it's going to be very dangerous. And I forgot the couple that was involved, but they end up freeing this being called Alpha Red, and it looks like all hell's about to break loose for the X-Men in X-Men 92. So I'm looking forward to where it goes. I like the artwork. The story definitely feels nostalgic. This is more of a guilty, not a guilty pleasure read, but this is more of a leisure read for me. I will be reviewing it, obviously, but I'm enjoying it. It's a nice, fresh breeze in between all the craziness that's going on in the regular Marvel Universe right now with the X-Men.
Alright, my turn. Darth Vader, issue number 18.
Now at a digital format.
Yes, now it's in a digital format, and I am giving this one more try.
Oh wow! He went from digital.
I'm just saying no, because the story, all I'm seeing is that there is a huge war that is going on. I can't remember for the life of me right now where it was. It just left me. And he has two of his apprentices who are there to help him. So 000 was trying to give him an idea of saying that he wanted, you know how the humans, how they draw blood, right? So he said, what if the blood he got from the humans were implanted in the robots he had to join in the war, and then that way things go. And then Darth Vader says, oh, no, that's not a good idea. We don't do things that way. I'm like saying, are you really that stupid just to say, I mean, these are robots with human blood in them. This could end. Like, hello? And also in the end, we find out that, one of the apprentices backstabs Darth Vader in the end. And now it's going to be him against that person. And there was other stuff that was so... Like, why was that part added in the story? I just don't understand. But, we'll see next issue. Hercules, issue number 5. Let me just back this up, because I'm going to come sit back down. Or I'm going to come sit down. So, yeah, this is the cover of that.
That's good.
Yeah. So, for Hercules, issue number 5, it's just him against Catastrophia, who... like they say, like the storm was coming, and that was the whole basics of the book. Like, he's fighting him, and it was a huge epic fight, and the artwork was drawn really amazing. I liked also that one part where he had that big globe on his hand like this to symbol something, and the whole fight of that, and Athena keeps coming in. It's like saying, really, what are you trying to tell him, like, just for that part. But that was really the whole fight, and also Gilgamesh came in to help out a little bit as well. And there was like this handprint that Hercules had on his shoulder. We don't know what it is. Well, he doesn't know what it is, but we, the readers, in the end, find out that one of the other people who was with Castrophia, it's going to be big... let's just say things are going to be very harder now for Hercules. And... who he's probably owned by now, thanks to that, and what effects could happen. So, something to look forward to for that.
You got 2 more books.
Yeah. From Archie Comics, Sonic Universe, issue number 83.
It's back!
Yep, it is back, and this takes place after Sonic the Hedgehog, issue 279. One story, flat out, of Eggman's Dozen. I'm just going to show some artwork. So, it's basically, in this story, we get introduced to the Nogus twins, who are known as Crystal Masters. And everything that Eggman's trying to do, they turn them into crystals and ice. And then we get a little bit of a backstory about them. We get, what are they called? The Witch Carters, who came in that attack Metal Sonic. And Eggman, feeling defeated... he is now gonna go out to find a group of people to go after them, as well as the Nogus, the Crystal Masters, basically. And that's what it is. He finds the Vulture, which we saw in Sonic the Hedgehog, and lots of other people, and basically formed this group, along with Clove. I think her name was. That was with the second part of the story. So, Eggman's gonna have a huge battle of Alliance, and I think this is the last part of it, part 2. Oh no, it's a 4-part. Alright. I thought it was a 2-part for some reason. I'm turning it the wrong way. Look at that. Classically drawn. If you're a Sonic fan, you'll definitely be picking up that issue. And here we go again with Street Fighter X G.I. Joe issue number 2. The second, well, not the second round, the other panel of people who are in the semifinals. And the matches were G.I. Joe versus Gung Ho. Mm-hmm. Which one would be the real American hero? And the artwork in here is drawn amazing. And it was a really close fight, but in the end, Guile wins that one. So he advances. Next, we have Dan versus Chung-Li, and of course, you could guess who won that one. That was, yeah, I believe, I think Chung-Li won that one. Or Barden? Something like that? I don't know. And then we had...
He's Cobra.
Huh?
He's Cobra.
The Cobra, Barden. Yeah. So then we have Storm Shadow versus Crocmaster. And that was a huge and epic fight. And Storm Shadow wins, so he advances.
That doesn't surprise me.
And then we have the biggest fight of all. M. Bison versus Cammy. Very brutal. It turned down in the end, but it looks like that Bison advances also. So now the whole roster looks like this of people who advanced.
So who is it now? Who was the last?
So basically it's Rufus
versus Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. I can't remember what their names are. Like Bison versus Storm Shadow. You said
Barton.
like this is Barton versus Guile.
I thought that was Baron, but okay.
Yeah, so lots of stuff to look forward to for the next round. So great book if you're a Street Fighter fan, or if you're interested in seeing how Street Fighter and G.I. Joe mix is going, then that's the book for you.
Saga 35, we find out where Lion Cat is. Lion Cat is actually with the chief over at the newspaper. And we find out that the brand is using them to find out where the prince is. And we get to see Lion Cat. I want to show Lion Cat. Am I showing the right panel? Yeah. He's the one right here. And it turns out that their boss gives them some intel on where Prince Robot is, but he's not with them right now. He's not there right now. He's with Marco and Alana, and they're going to use him to get into the prison to save their daughter, who's being snuck out by her teacher at that exact same moment. And it turns out the ship gets attacked because it goes into certain territory. I don't want to say by what. Read the book. Marco goes to save the daughter and his mom, and Alana stays behind with Prince Robot to fight the intruders on the ship. And then the son gets not attacked, but he shows up and ends up threatening the little boy. But then Gus shows up at the end and says, "You don't touch him." So, I'm looking forward to the next issue. So, a lot's going on. You got the Mark. I don't remember. It's the Mark or the Brand, because one of them died. I think it's either way. I'm probably wrong on both ends. But you got him going after Prince Robot. You've got Prince Robot helping Alana and Marco get their daughter back. You've got the daughter being snuck out by her teacher. It's just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Now, I'm going to stick a big two book in between two indies, because that book was my favorite book of the week. So let's start with Justice League of America, issue number 8. Superman's fighting Rao in this book, and we find out that no matter how much Superman beats up Rao, he's not getting hurt because his followers, the more that Rao's getting hurt, it's not hurting him, it's hurting the followers, and he's stealing their life force, or he's basically absorbing their health through them. So no matter what Superman does, Rao is fine, and other people are getting hurt instead. Wonder Woman and Aquaman show up to help. We then find out that Batman and Cyborg had a plan set up, and that's kind of why Superman has been keeping Rao busy all this time. And we find out that that plan is to use the parasite to try to siphon all of Rao's powers away, and it kind of works. Then it doesn't, and then they find a way to separate Rao from all of the people of Earth, so he no longer has any followers. But the building's back with the Flash, and where do you think Rao went to? The building, to the stones that are inside of the building. And from the looks of it, in the last panel of this book, Superman might be dead.
Oh, wow.
I don't think he's dead. I think that, obviously...
Was there kryptonite or anything? Or is he near the sun?
I think that it's going to be played off right away that he'll be fine in the next issue. This is quite possibly the best Deviation book out of all of IDW. And I'm not saying it because of the title. I'm going to say it because of the artwork. I have multiple people that agree with me. So it's not just me saying this. But Deviations presents Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is if Kitsune not only invaded Leo's mind, but was able to reach out to the other three turtles, and basically Shredder controls all four turtles and has them brainwashed by Kitsune. And Splinter is being basically hunted by the turtles. The artwork in this book is it's like classic Turtles, and you've got Splinter trying to snap them out of it. It's not working.
So Old this is Hob, in a world where turtles join the Shredder.
Wait. Old Hob is working with the turtles, then we find out later on that Old Hob actually has another plan, but first we find out that apparently Casey was killed by Shredder. And instead of his father becoming Hun and working for the Foot, his father becomes Hun one more time and looks for revenge against Shredder. So the turtles end up beating Splinter and bringing him back to the Shredder. And we find out that it was all a plan between him and Old Hob. And Old Hob shows up with Slash. And the fight begins. And honestly, we do get a little bit of... in a panel before Old Hob attacks about the street phantoms and stuff. And apparently, in this world, the Turtles have eliminated all of the other street gangs in New York already. So basically, the Foot is all that's left. Then we get the huge fight between Old Hob, Slash... And then, of course, Casey's father shows up, Hun with the purple dragons. And it's just an all-out fight. And then you got the astrological plane, I want to call it astrological plane, fight between Splinter and Kitsune to free his sons. Shin, who is his wife, shows up to help, Splinter, save the turtles. Kitsune dies. The turtles are free from her control. Shredder's killed by Casey's father. Shredder also kills his granddaughter and Aliplex. So basically, everyone is dead except for the Turtles and Slash. And I love the father's last words. I'm going to be with your mother now. She awaits me just as freedom awaits you. What will you do with such a responsibility? What will you do? And Splinter dies. So the Turtles were freed, but everyone died. Everyone was lost. I don't know where April is. I'm sure that they made mention and it probably went over my head. But basically the Turtles are all that's left. And Slash now. So what will happen next? Their enemy Shredder's gone. But now what about Krang? I mean, Krang... Well, obviously this is a one-shot. So obviously we're not going to have to worry about what happens in this universe. But out of all the deviations, artwork, story, characters, and deviation, this and this alone should have been IDW's Deviation. This book was excellent. The only other book that I liked out of Deviation was Transformers. And honestly, the only reason...
X-Files.
You liked X-Files. I didn't read X-Files.
Oh.
So, G.I. Joe was a disappointment because of the artwork, mostly.
And Ghostbusters I didn't like.
Ghostbusters Mike didn't like because of the story and the artwork. I didn't read X-Files, but that was Michael's number 1. My number 2 was Transformers, just because they took a 90-minute movie and tried to condense it into a one-shot instead of condensing it into like a 2 or 3 issue miniseries instead, which it's understandable. These are all one-shots, so they tried their best, and I'm not taking it away from them. That is my number 2. But my number 1 has to go to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Strong story, strong artwork, perfect Deviation as well. This book was excellent for Deviation and a great way for Deviations to end, in my opinion. So, kudos. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Tom Waltz actually is the one that wrote this along with Kevin Eastman. No, just Tom Waltz wrote this. So that's awesome. And in the back, they show a timeline for everybody who wants to catch up to Turtles. You can check this Deviations book out. They have inside the pages, and he explains right where the deviation happened and why they picked this moment. This book is excellent. There's so much stuff in it, and it's really, really good. And with that, that's it for this short week, even though we only went 35 minutes. That's pretty good. Yeah. So that's it for this really short week for the Dark Avenger comic book review. As always, links in the description below. Check them out in your spare time. Feel free to comment below about any of the comics we talked about here or any comics we didn't talk about this week. And as always, guys, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in the next video.